Go see Wolfie? Well, we're gonna go to Mondstadt next. We're actually gonna follow through and see what's up with these Envisaged Echoes. I don't know if oh, okay, so there is a scene here.
Hello, dear guests. Please, come here.
Oh, I can finally take screenshots with Wolfie. Thank God. Okay, it's already starting, chat. Wolfie!
I have some good news to share with you. This took much longer than it should have.
Nice.
But in any case, at long last, the new stage is ready for action.
Yeah, the new picture is open to us.
Put on a spectacular show for your audience, and you will receive a key that opens the door to the world within the painting.
Holy moly. Dude, we're like skidooing into everything, bro.
Whoa, hold up. First storybook,
Yeah.
now a world inside a painting? This place is making less and less sense all the time.
Chat, you know what would be really cool? This painting was here when the Imaginarium Theater was added last patch. I wonder if they will let us be able to jump into the painting of the Boar Princess behind us. Like if they give us like a quest with the Boar Princess where we actually go into her world, because we read the book already. We also have the book, so either jump into the painting or jump into the book, or jump into the painting with the book. That'd be crazy too.
I know what you mean. But as I read in a storybook once, if a magician reveals all their tricks to the audience, it robs them of the surprise.
Oh my God, I love all of these screenshots of Wolfie. I'm taking them all.
So, it's quite right that things don't make sense. Madame Mage's magic is just like love. Not something to try and make sense of, but something you just feel.
Fair enough. That explanation sorta works. But anyway, about this new world within the painting stage. Is it any different from the other stage?
Yes it is.
The world within the painting is a world of many rules. This new stage will put friendship and trust to the test. A classic tale.
Yep.
And all those who pass the test will receive a small blessing from Madame Mage.
Madame Mage. I'm still wondering if Madame Mage is Alice or Anders' daughter, or maybe it's all of them. Like maybe he just uses the term interchangeably to mention any one of them.
Ooh, is it a good luck spell or something?
Be careful what you wish for.
Yep, good point. We should be careful what we wish for.
Yeah, you might just get a debate club or a Chi-Chi. Unless you want a Chi-Chi and then you just never get one for 2 years and you're just wondering where your Chi-Chi is, but you still hope and pray and wish that you'll eventually get her, you know what I mean?
I assure you, there's nothing to be nervous about. The paint is already on the canvas, and Madame Mage's blessing is no longer a secret.
Ooh, yeah. Oh yeah, the painting, the paint that brings the world to life. Yeah, I remember that.
If you're ready, you can step onto the world within the painting stage and see for yourself.
Ah, this is so cool. All right, I'm gonna get this screenshot too.
As you embark on your new adventure, do as they do in the stories. Whistle your favorite tune, cast your worries aside, and keep courage in your heart.
Shout out to Wolfie's VA, by the way. I know bro is like this super wholesome creature, but like bro, you're devious in the story. I shouldn't be trusting you, but like I can't help it. You're just so wholesome. Envisaged Echo. Oh my God. Reach the requirement in the Imaginarium Theater Performance Challenge to gain Keys of Echoes. Okay. I'm actually, this might sound a little crazy, I'm actually going to save these keys. I do not want to use them for any characters because I feel like Hoyoverse will most definitely add more characters. Maybe patch to patch, they'll add more characters. They have like almost 100 characters at this point. I will use them up once I hit the cap because obviously you don't want to waste potential key farming and storing. Using one now or using one when I have 4 will probably benefit me, so that way I can get another one down the road. I'm gonna save them right now in the hopes that next patch we'll get new characters added sooner rather than later. I do want to read the event page though. Let me check this out real quick. In the corners of the Teyvat lobby, vibrant colors have emerged on a once blank canvas. When someone touches the canvas, it transports you to different domains based upon their different experiences. Explore the worlds within the paintings with specific companions, and perhaps precious memories may be painted into peerless pictures. Envisioned Echoes challenges for the following characters have been updated. And you can see the preview of them. So D-Luke gives off like phoenix feathers, which is kind of ironic considering that we're going to Natlin. Kirara has like these cute little, I don't know, like cute little flowers symbols. Ningguang has those kind of look like feathers as well. Chi-Chi's got little ghosties. And then Jean is riding with the winds of dandelions. I actually really like Jean's. I think out of everyone's, I think Jean and Deluxe would be the ones I'd probably go for Jean, just because I also got Jean's poses when we did Imaginarium Theater last patch. It's shaped like ginkgo leaves. Okay, I see. It actually says what all of these are. The Herald of Frost, dandelions in the wind, night owl's pinion. Okay, night owl feathers, and blooming flowers. Oh, okay, so they do give descriptions here. Nice. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Genshin Impact playthrough session. Now, I do want to be transparent with this video at the point where I'm going to be uploading this in the playthrough series on YouTube. This should be the next upload from that last video. We're going to be reading the Little Witch in the Undying Fire book that was released during that patch. However, we are actually at the end of version 4.8. At the time of recording right now, Natlan comes out tomorrow night, kind of as a last portion of my 4.x series of content before Natlan. I wanted to formally read this book and kind of address all of my thoughts, theories, speculations regarding the Little Witch in the Undying Fire, go through some little extra things that they included with the release of some Imaginarium Theater updates, and also read my monthly fortune, as I haven't read the fortune yet. So this is going to be an immediate upload from the last one, and Imaginarium Theater will be uploaded on, or will be updated on a monthly basis. So whenever new things are added, I'll be sure to incorporate it during the patch that I did it. But for this on YouTube, you guys will be getting this video immediately after the initial Imaginarium Theater release. So I just want you guys to know about that. So we do know about Simulanka, we know about Mini Durin, you know, the future war in Mondstadt, the real life Durin coming back to life, and everything else in between, which is what we were talking about before the start of the video. And on top of that, they're adding on to the Imaginarium Theater next patch with some new like combat things and you know, everything else in between. So Imaginarium Theater's been peak. We got so much Hex and Zircle lore from Simulanka, which I'm actually glad that I'm doing this now, post Simulanka, because we learned about Anders' daughter and the fact that she had the ability through the efforts of her Hex and Zircle members that basically the world of fairy tales can be actually like explored, which is something that I talked about like in early Fontaine. So we could potentially get the Boar Princess book that we can just hop into. I mean, the book already exists, but I'm wondering, or rather I'm hoping that we get the opportunity to jump into more of these fairy tale books in the future. This is also kind of like a slight nod to the Thelxie's Fantastic Adventure event during version 4.2, where Fremine even suggested that, you know, the fantasy world and the real world kind of blended together in that moment between Zuria and her son. Despite the fact that we weren't really able to experience that, she was able to experience seeing her son again, which was kind of like an aspect of fantasy becoming a miracle in reality, which I thought was, that could have even been foreshadowing for what eventually confirmed to us, at least, that the fairy tale world or the fantasy world and the real world are both real. So I still don't know what that means for Genshin, like the world of Teyvat, like the nature of this world, like the journey that we're going on that Lumine wants us to figure out, discover the truth of this world or whatever. I don't know if we're in a dream. I still think we're in a dream, but like now with the incorporation of fairy tales, like I don't know if we're in a dream and Paimon is like the anchor of the dream, right? Kind of like how when we were in the Sub-Zero's festival, right? The Sub-Zero's festival was going on and it was anchored by Nilou. And with Paimon being like our literal companion of the world, maybe it's Paimon's dream? I don't know, because she's celestial and she might have some ties in with the primordial one. A couple of things that we want to get through first and foremost. We are going to be reading the book primarily, but I do have some housekeeping business that I want to get through before we get there. We are actually going to be going for our Envisaged Echoes. So this is the new feature that released during this patch 4.8, if I'm not mistaken. We actually get like these really cool trails. Like I don't know how noticeable they are, but you get like these cool little particle effect trails for your characters. And as of right now, they have 5 characters. Kirara was one I was considering because we got her Nekomata and Boots skin from Simulanka this patch. And then they have Ningguang, Chi-Chi, who I think I'm gonna get the C6 Chi-Chi for my free 5-star when Natlan drops. And then there's also Jean. I'm actually gonna be going for Jean's because during the last patch, you guys probably saw it in the video, I did go for her Thespian trick, which is like her new like pose animation, like when you're taking pictures with her and the dandelion. Hers was one of the ones that I chose. And so I do want to have both her Thespian trick and her Envisaged Echo. And then moving forward, I'm just going to save it. It seems like they're going to be adding new characters every cycle. So as of right now, I'm going to be going with Jean, and then I'll wait until, you know, I'm capped out right now. So at this point, I have to choose a character, but I'm only going to choose a character at the last minute if there's no other characters for me to choose from. But I'm basically just going to go with Jean's for now, which I think all my characters are level 90. All my characters are friendship 10. So I already reached both of the criteria here. Protect the target and defeat all opponents. Your character will be periodically afflicted with smoldering flames during the challenge, causing you to continuously take pyro damage until the inflicted pyro element is removed. Let's get this bread, gamers. I'm constantly going to be burned alive. I'm going to be... Oh, this is actually a pretty cool looking... Oh, this is a neat little domain space. Oh, what the heck? Oh! For some reason, because I didn't start the challenge, I was like, oh, they're just going to put an invisible wall over here. And so I just kept walking until I fell off the side. Oh, no, this is actually a... Wait, can I explore around here? Hold on. Oh, never mind. Okay, Genshin, you can have it your way then. Let's do it. Oh, damn it. Okay, I gotta... Back up. Stop hitting my cargo. See ya. It's how well... Actually, you know what? I should probably... Nice. Okay. I gotta move these guys back a little bit. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I completely forgot that I'm dying. I'm burning alive here. Dude, that was so fast. How fast am I burning? All right, let me try this again. Holy cannoli. Also, what I should have done with this guy is knock him up.
Another test subject.
Knock these guys up. Push these guys back. Knock him up. Come on, come on, come on. God damn it.
Guide us.
Come on, come on, come on. All right, grab them all, grab them all, grab them all. Damn. All right, I gotta grab this guy now. Sheesh. Okay, this is actually a little tricky. All right, you know what? Fine. These guys are so annoying. All right, get over here. You two. Hello? Gentlemen, please. Guys, I'm scuffed right now. Holy moly. Are we good? Are we good? Nope, there's more. All right, you two get over here.
My companions
I guess.
need me. I swear by my sword.
Jean, please. I can't keep doing this. All right, bring them both together. And we're good. I hope. Please stop burning. Please stop burning. Oh my god.
New job.
Holy shit. Am I done? This is at 17%. I have a couple more. No! Be gone, cretins! Hell yeah.
Wind, hear me.
Sheesh! Okay! Alright, guys, this was the real end game. Oh my god. Alright, Echo, Dandelion Knight. Easy clap, boys. Jean's Envisaged Echo flutters like dandelions in the wind, swirling about her, accompanying her on her resolute journey. Alright, guys, first try, by the way. I assume this is something that has to be manually equipped to her. Okay, right here in the dressing room. Echoes. Confirm. Equip. So from there, I actually, Wolfie, now that you're over here, perfect timing. I had to wake you up anyway. Let me see my Thespian tricks here. So I do have a couple of coins that I want to save off for potential future characters. So I believe these are the 4 new characters. So I think when Imaginarium Theater first came out, they had like all of these characters available, if I'm not mistaken. And so I chose Shangling, Jean, and Raiden Shogun, which I took a picture of Raiden Shogun in Simulanka last night, which it's a really cool picture. So I did all of these, and then they added 4. So I'm assuming they're going to add 4 new characters every month. So for this one, I actually do want to save at least 1 coin for whoever they might potentially add next patch. So I'm actually going to be going with Kaya. because this one looks super cool, and it's Kaya, come on. And actually Yoimiya, filled with confidence. I love both of these. Really great expressions. And over time, I'll definitely come back, and I'm going to be doing my Imaginarium Theater on a constant basis, so I can eventually get all of them. But in terms of picking and choosing, because I want to have at least 1 point left over, we're going to be going with Yoimiya. So we have Kaya and Yoimiya for right now. So Envisaged Echo is done. Thespian tricks are done. What we're actually going to do now, I have not seen this yet. So every month, we get a fortune slip. We draw our seasonal fortune slip from this little kitty cat fortune teller, which I think this is the cat that was mentioned in the story of Anders' daughter creating those 3 stories in Simulanka, that like her cat like walked over and like messed up like the 3 endings, so she combined all of them. I think this is the cat that they were referencing in the Narration Footworks World Quest with Kirara. So I think this is the cat that they were referencing, but I got an absolutely goated lore-focused fortune last month, so let's see what this one is. Draw a slip. Oh my god. Oh, it's cute. Oh, this is a short one. Okay. Oh my god! Wait! This is a slip meant for Ella Musk. Hold on. It would appear that the Hilichurls possess no concept of neither the past or future, living only in the present. They do not intentionally store food for survival, nor do they honor the memories of their deceased forebearers. Hilichurl cultural customs too. Ella Musk is right outside the door, bro. Oh, this is so cool. Random little things can bring great happiness, inspiring laughter and smiles onto which sunlight seeps. Yet one can never have too much joy, and thus the happiness in the present should be cherished. Our lives are made up of countless fleeting present moments that pass us by. Even Hilichurls, therefore, know the meaning of living in the present. Seize these beautiful moments and string them together into joys still greater. The Hilichurls, man. The ultimate victims in all of this. That was so we got some Hilichurl lore, and they were talking about like they experienced not the past nor the future, only the present. They're like head empty only now. I don't know if that has anything to do with time. Istaroth, Kairos, hello? So that's Hilichurl cultural customs too, which if I'm not mistaken, hold on. Hilichurl cultural customs. It would be this book right here. And this talks about the Hilichurls as well. Holy shit, that's kind of cool. So it expands on this book, the Hilichurl. It was Hilichurl cultural customs 2. All right, so all of the other lore reading is done. I am going to cop a squat right here. Actually, I want to cop a squat on this side. That way, if Wolfie walks by, he'll see me. I'll get to be next to Wolf. Also, this is the table, I think, that was referenced. Well, this is one of the tables, right, that are referenced through the Hexenzirkel. I actually went back and watched the Hexenzirkel cutscene before this stream, actually. And so this table shows 8 seats, but the Hexenzirkel cutscene during 3.5, I think it was, that one only showed 7 seats. So one of the seats was missing. So I wonder if there's a and like also like the cutscene starts off with like 8 total mages. So I'm wondering if there's 8 total Hexenzirkel members across all of time, because we know that some of them like Jay and Anders' daughter are no longer alive. But I wonder if like the total amount that have ever been a part of the Hexenzirkel is 8. Anyways, let us cop a squat. And ladies and gentlemen, let us indulge in a good read. I also have a notebook at the ready on standby. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be taking some notes here. But all right, we're going to be starting with The Little Witch and the Undying Flame, Volume 1. The binding and layout are exquisitely made, but the actual contents are all handwritten. Judging from the handwriting, this is more than one author. Don't fuss about what we're writing. The cover needs to look good. That's the only way it'll give off that masterpiece feeling. Did they all work on this book together then? I assume Alice is spearheading this. All right, Volume 1. This is the story of a little witch who journeyed far and wide to find the undying fire. The story began as such in the westernmost part of the magical continent, where the young witch was undergoing her witch certification and final trial. As per convention, one need only pass this trial to qualify as a true witch. Okay. The trial required lots to be drawn, and the results were completely random, a format which resulted in frequent accidents. But the magic continent was nothing if not firm in its adherence to tradition, and so, if you would believe it, they've stuck to the rules of drawing lots for trials since the very most ancient of times. There's a law in the outside world known as Morphy's Law. Morphy? Like Murphy's Law? That's how you write it, right? Anyways, it means that bad things you worry about happening are probably yeah, that's Murphy's Law. Bad things you worry about happening are probably going to happen, and thus did a completely unsurprising surprise strike the little witch. Okay. Interesting. Real life concepts here. I wonder if this is, this might be Alice then. Hold on. Some little witches got very simple tasks. Stuff like synthesizing the final solution to the material world, the Philosopher's Stone, or bringing back Balin from the Titanic universe roaming whale. What the hell? Or perhaps figuring how to get to a parallel universe to find a no longer extant grimoire lost to the great ancient magical war, and so on and so on. All right, so that's referring to the narwhal, right? The universe roaming whale. How are these simple tasks, by the way? Synthesizing the Philosopher's Stone, bringing back Balin from the Titanic universe roaming whale, and finding a grimoire that's been lost since the ancient magical war. Okay, no big deal, I guess. But our main protagonist drew a couple of terrible, troubling tribulations to find and bring back the Undying fire. Perhaps her honoring teacher might have an opinion on this subject. Her teacher was just enjoying a most wonderful tea time with her friends, and she comforted her students. It must be because you're fated to become a really great witch, so your topic's a little harder than most. Unsolved mysteries are the most interesting after all. Okay, so this little witch has to find an undying fire in the world, which is akin, if not more difficult than these other tasks, which sounds insane. Really? That's right. When you come back, I'll be sure to welcome you with a tea party, one lovelier than this one even. The teacher's friends whispered to her, "Hey now, isn't that a bit much? You obviously only made up that question because you couldn't be bothered to think of the real exam question. If such a thing even existed, we'd have perpetual motion machines by now, don't you think?" Does Conria have the Undying fire? Conria had perpetual motion machines. Couldn't you have done something else? You know, made her prove the grand unified theory based on the unified electro-weak theory or something? Oh, don't you worry. Life is full of a great many lies, the teacher spoke brazenly. And I did not lie, did I? I know that the Undying fire does indeed exist. That blazing star. Huh, hang on. When did I see it again? Must have forgotten. The teacher spun around to her pupil saying, "Ahem, considering this your trial is indeed quite challenging. You shall have 3 times the normal amount of time to complete it. I'll be rooting for you." What is happening right now? What are these witches on about? They're out here really solving the universe's problems. The reason why I wonder if this first passage is by Alice is because she mentioned Murphy's Law, which is a real world, like, concept, right? Murphy's Law is like, if it can go bad, it will go bad. If it has the potential to, it will. That's a real world concept, and that reminded me of how Alice kind of coined the concept of copyright in I think it was the 2.8 Golden Apple quest. So she must have like traveled to our world, heard about Murphy's Law, and then like brought it back to her world or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's mentioned like the Rubicon. She's mentioned so many like real world things or real world concepts. She goes from world to world, right? She gathers technology and inventions and creations, and she like kind of brings a trinket of that back to the Hexen Circle, I'm assuming. So I'm wondering if this first one is her, based on the fact that she's referencing real world concepts here. Okay, so this little witch has to go out and find fire that has never been found. She has to solve an unsolvable mystery, I guess. Interesting. All right, volume 2, Deep in the woods, nighttime, the little witch soared upon her broom beneath the blood green moon. Blood green was regarded as a symbol of great change in astrology. Okay. Oh, this is cool. So this must be Barbeloth. Okay, let me write that down. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's right. I have to read the description. I forgot. All right, so volume 2. You're more than halfway through and you haven't even pushed the plot forward one iota. Why is it all about the setting? And what would you know? And besides, this stuff isn't flushing the setting out. It's elucidating natural science and other miscellaneous disciplines. Oh, okay, so is she commenting on how the first volume was doing nothing for their combined efforts? You're like, yeah, you're just rambling about random nonsense. Let me add some life to this story. Yeah, so I'm assuming Alice wrote the first one and she's all high and mighty talking about things that are like beyond our comprehension. And then here comes Barbeloth like, what is bro yapping about? Let me actually paint you a story. Deep in the woods, nighttime. Hey, look at that. We got a setting. Thank you, Barbeloth. The little witch soared upon her broom beneath the blood green moon? Blood green was regarded as a symbol of great change in astrology, but whether such change be for good or ill cannot be determined by any result. Actually, that shade symbolizes the dominant race in this world, the Nephilim. They were the children of gods and humans, and so their blood too. Wait, what is happening? Bro, there's no way. What? Actually, that shade symbolized the dominant race of this world, the Nephilim. They were the children of gods and humans, and so their blood too was the conflux between the red blood of humanity and the gold divine blood. And actually, the green moonlight was the result of the moon's physical composition and distance between the planet and its moon, atmospheric shattered and other factors. Atmospheric shattering and other factors. Did they just reveal another piece of lore to the world? The Nephilim? Let me write that down. That's interesting because so far in the game, we've only heard about either humanity or gods, but this is a blending of the two. This kind of reminds me maybe of the Seelie, right? I don't know if the Seelie are like the middle ground between man and God. Okay, I have no idea where the hell we're going with this shit. The Nephilim. Okay, so I don't know if this is world building or if this is something I have to take into consideration because we also know that fairy tale creatures can leave their book worlds. It happened with Mini Durin. It happened with those two little toy men that left the book and they're in Fontaine right now. Jesus Christ. Barbeloth, what are you doing? Anyways, so the little witch was soaring upon her broomstick beneath the blood green moon, and then she met a young lady who claimed to be a fortune teller. I wish to become a witch's familiar, said the young lady. And before they could even consider it, the little witch had something to ask. Can fortune tellers read the signs of fate? The fortune teller then explained the underlying principles. Simply put, it's something like this. In our world, the stars are the heavenly strings by which humans are bound. Oh, God. Dude, now Barbeloth is yapping about astrology? Like, come on, you're both just stroking your ego. But in other worlds, the subject of astrological study are the solar ecliptic energies and various lunar energies of the satellites, the will energy of the celestial rulers of the planet, the shattering interference energies of distant stars, and the dark energies that suffuses the pitch black cosmos. What is bro yapping about? Of course, it's not only these things that inert influence on our planet. They have merely been greatly weakened by a giant sky shroud. As such, astrology... Oh, is that like the firmament? As such, astrology in other worlds is far more abstract than that which is practiced in ours. By the way, other planets refer to an actual celestial bodies as an archon. What is happening, chat? Why? What do they mean? Other planets refer to an actual celestial bodies as an archon, and a theorized one as a virtual. The planet the little witch was on was no exception. This is confusing. Okay, Barbeloth, you lost me here. I'm sorry. You see, we also call a will that comes down from the heavens an archon. Descender? They are normally planets that have sentient life on them, and they number 7, and therefore they are called the 7 Archons. So is that like, is an Archon the same name as a planet? Like the terminology is like mixing me up here, but I assume she means like, hey, we call these giant bodies, we call these Archons, but they're planets. But this is also reminding me of the actual Archons, like the gods, like the 7 and the 7 Gnosis. I'm getting a little jumbled here with the terminology. They are normally planets that have sentient life on them, and they number 7, and therefore they can be called the 7 Archons. As for the virtuals, their number varies between 1, 2, and 4. The planet the little witch was on may very well have been 1, and in the case of such planets, the virtual would be a dark sun. Astrologists and diviners are, in essence, performing weight calculations on the sky shroud, the cosmos, and the archons in virtual celestial bodies before deducing individual developmental tendencies from world to world. But the relevant weight of the world shroud over our planet is just way too great, and so investigating it already allows us to obtain very precise results. As for the world the little witch and astrologist were on, they would have to go through the entire formula. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you trying to find out if you're on an Archon or if you're on a virtual celestial body? After the little witch finished listening, she was very impressed by the fortune teller's learning and techniques. Now they could speak of the matter of familiarhood. To be a witch's familiar was to share in her magic, and with magic, one could peer into more destinies. That said, perhaps a familiar could have unforeseen side effects. It was hard to say what might happen. Yes, that's what the blood green moon means. Great change, which couldn't be judged as good or ill by the outcome. See how it all comes together? We didn't see how it all comes together. We didn't go off topic. Barbeloth, you're capping right now. Oh man, she's like, let me yap and then let me like weave it back into the story. She kind of cooked, I'm not gonna lie. It is a shame that I am still not a great witch and I cannot make you my familiar yet, said the little witch. I know of another way to establish a contract with a witch. It seems we must resort to using it, said the young girl. This was the night bathed in blood green moonlight, and it was also coincidentally the witch's night carnival. By the way, the night carnival is an ancient taboo ceremony. Legend has it, at such ancient times, the witches' magical powers were at their apex. They held rituals in secret, offering sacrifices and keeping the bonfires burning through the night. I love how we're talking about sacrifices and bonfires burning when we're going to Natlan pretty soon, but anyways. This tradition had been forgotten in the westernmost part of the magical continent, but for some reason, it has been revived within the deep woods. Normally, this was an event that only great witches or figures greater still could be invited to, or invite others to attend. In practice, though, participation in the carnival was a direct relation to the witch's romantic or marital status. In any case, for some totally unknown reason, the astrologist knew all about witches while the witch knew nothing about astrologists at all. The point is, they decided to go and check out the night carnival. Let's just go with it being a way to deal with the anxiety the little witch felt over not being able to find the undying fire. So they're talking about astrology, the world, the stars, the universe, the 7 archons, the 1, 2, or 4 virtual celestial bodies that are regarded as black suns and all of this stuff. And then they're like, hey, let's go to this witches carnival so that way you can get your magic, so that way I can be your familiar. Okay. Under the blood green moon, the great witches danced around the bonfire. The little witch and the young astrologist hid in the shadows of trees that grew so thick that even dense clouds couldn't compare, and even the bonfire could not illuminate them. Okay, so they're hiding out. We just need to wait until the day after the ancient forbidden night of revelry, when the dawn light first breaks and the various great witches depart. In the gray embers will be a flame that never dies. Oh, is it like the flame, like the embers of the flame that they're dancing around? When a mortal takes this flame and offers it up, it is equal to signing a contract with a witch, said the young lady. I hope this young lady isn't like trying to like double cross this witch or anything. This astrologist just comes out the woodwork and is like, I want to be your familiar and I'll do anything to do it. I'm a little nervous for this little witch. She seems a little inexperienced. Yeah, that's another thing too that I thought when they mentioned 1, 2, and 4, I was wondering about the Descenders. right? Because the first Descender, the second Descender, and the third Descender are allegedly like still part of the plot, but we know that the third Descender is dead, and their corpse is what makes up the 7 Gnosis that are given to the 7 Archons. So I'm wondering if that was like a reference to the Descenders at all. In the Gray Embers will be a flame that never dies. When a mortal takes this flame and offers it up, it is equivalent to signing a contract with a witch, the young lady said the young lady. Does this method always work? The little witch asked. It's possible a witch could reject the contract, but witches do so love their spirit mediums. And I'm not afraid of becoming a fearsome creature, the young lady replied, her voice thick with yearning. In that case, isn't this an undying fire? Dark thoughts came into the little witch's mind. What if I took that flame for my own? And so, under the blood green moonlight, the great witches sang their song. If all things a witch's opera be, then nothing true worth mourning would the world ever see. Our festival has come to a fruitful end. The story shall not stay its feet, and every night hence shall be the witch's night. A sense of shame surged forth within the witch as she listened from the shadows. It wasn't out of worry that those present great witches and greater still might include her teacher, school principal, instructors, or anything like that. She knew everyone at her school, and she was sure no one familiar was present. By the way, while the official rules at the school she attended was lax when it came to governing teachers and their students, students of similar age would still be ranked against each other. Students of different teachers were also permitted to interact outside of classes. The creation of this system could be tracked back to the rise of the Western witches long, long ago. They did not shy away from exchanging secret hexes and rituals with their mutual benefits, which would also result in their swift rise in those days. Of course, the organization that the little witch belonged to was a direct successor of these Western witches. Also, this blurb definitely wasn't just added in here because I forgot about the world building earlier. Oh man, that's so funny. So they're just like trying to spruce up their world building, and they're all trying to do it in different ways. So, oh my God, is Rhine-Daughter gonna get us? I wonder if Rhine-Daughter's gonna get a part. Back to the story, she said to the fortune teller, since we have this opportunity, go bravely forth then. Once dawn comes, take that fire. If you should be so unfortunate as to become a monster, I will give you a quick end. You will not suffer. As a gift to commemorate this friendship, the young lady gave her trusted crystal ball to the little witch. This crystal ball feels joy for all known destined paths, and its heart breaks for all unrevealed tragedies. If you ever feel lost, allow it to be your oracle. Actually, there's a story behind this crystal ball. All right, Barbaloth is like me for real. She doesn't know how to be concise. She only knows how to yap. 2 volumes down. Wow, not bad, not bad. So the little witch going on kind of a crazy journey here. She's got to find this undying fire. She comes across a potential companion who really, really wants to be her familiar, to the point where she's like, hey, do what you got to do. If I turn into a monster, so be it. But, you know, it's like her dream at this point, and she gives her her crystal ball. Seems like the little witch might have to go through some trials and tribulations for herself, but we'll see. This is also turning out to be like some weird, like, amalgamation fan fiction by all of these mages. It doesn't seem like it has a very cohesive plot to it because everyone's just throwing whatever at it, which is kind of funny. Next up, we got Volume 3. Oh my God. We got R! We got Rhine-Daughter! This is her chapter, I think! Some mysterious handwriting... Oh God, Albedo's mom. Some mysterious handwriting appears right before the main text. It's so rare for R to be in her right mind for a spell. Oh? Oh, damn. Hold on. Is Rhine-Daughter like crazy 99.9% of the time? Should she really be wasting precious little lucid time she has writing this? Don't worry. For a witch, this is the most important thing. Chat, she do be a sinner. That sounds like a sinner if I've ever heard one. I think I can fix her though, all right? I believe. I gotta do it. I have to try, guys. God damn it. Rhine daughter, what are you doing? I can't wait to see her though. I don't care. I don't care if she's a sinner. I will save her. All right, volume 3. In her travels, the little witch encountered a group of people getting ready to kill demon kings. Of course. In all things, death is inevitable. She decided to join them and go kill some demon kings. Little witch, what are you doing? Rhine daughter, you're a bad influence. They told her, the more demon kings you kill, the greater your witch's power will grow. This is, in fact, true. Then they encountered a mimic demon king. You guys got you baited. After their whole affair, the little witch would write a demon king slaying chronicle every time she hunted one. Oh, Rhine daughter, go fight my abyssal abomination children, and you'll get stronger as you do. They encountered the mimic demon king. That's literally Susbeto. He could shapeshift. He could mimic and become anything he wants. Oh my god. They encountered the mimic demon king in a rundown old house. At first, no one knew what was going on, assuming that the place had already gone moldy. After breathing the mold spores in, her companion turned into the following respectively: a shoddy looking ancient robot, which the little witch found really ugly and not up to snuff when compared. Bro, Rhine daughter's throwing shade. That little companion of yours from the last chapter ain't shit compared to my alchemy. Which the little witch found really ugly and not up to snuff when compared to alchemy. A young, beautiful maiden. This team member was originally male, leading the witch to initially wonder if it was some inversion of biological, sequential hermaphroditism. And a pirate. She had no idea about this one. After some time, everyone in the squad developed identity disorders. What is, Rhine daughter, please seek therapy. What is happening to you? Considering that her 3 companions appeared to be of the same species, they could not have exhibited such different natures while the symptoms were, by contrast, so similar. The little witch discovered that the mold had its own consciousness and had the power of allowing similar life forms to turn into their ideal state. Ah, okay, so that's what caused the transformations. She did not change because she was already very pleased with herself. Oh, interesting. The little witch decided to test the mold's unique properties. She tried ingesting parts of it, finding it to be edible and without any side effects. That's a little weird that she would eat mold just randomly like that, but okay. Thus, it might have been a mischaracterization to call it a mold. And since the mold in blue mold cheese could also be eaten, she decided to continue using that label. Something worth noting was that after a chunk had been cut away, the other mold threads would suddenly disappear, possibly a sign of a rudimentary collective intelligence. Oh my god, to facilitate further communication, the little witch wanted to turn into... The little witch wanted to turn into mold, and so she did. Chat, what is happening right now? As it turned out, the mold colony only sent strange biological signals that needed deciphering. Through repeated observations, it seemed that their level of collective intelligence might be lower than she had previously thought. In the end, the mole committed suicide. What is happening? Chat, are we playing Genshin Impact? Is this Genshin? What is happening? What? 07s for the mold? You never stood a chance. The little witch deciphered its way of communicating communications, and as it turned out, the colony experienced dissonance in self-perception and self-disassociation. Okay, Rhine daughter, you might be self-reporting right now. When it looked upon the little witch who had become just like them, the signals they sent had in fact been philosophical speculations. Who is me? And what am I? Its intelligence was thus much higher than expected. Her friends recovered and told the little witch that this was the mimic demon king. It was a species of demon king in the same taxonomic class as standard demon kings, but none in the same order. It was a shame. She wished she had the chance to observe more and make some more records. Then they encountered a chipmunk demon king. Oh my, what is happening right now? Then they encountered a chipmunk demon king, which her comrades had claimed beforehand was also a species of demon king. It was classified as belonging to the same class in super order as a standard demon king, but was part of a different grand order. The chipmunk demon king, I think she's getting trolled right now, honestly. The chipmunk demon king looked very fierce indeed, and the little witch suspected that this aggressiveness stemmed from behaviors acquired during the gestation period and while nurturing their offspring. Investigating its old nest, they found that it was male. One of her companions was eaten. Oh, she's just like, and then this happened, and then this happened. And then this happened. No fanfare, no build-up, no nothing. It turns out that it simply had a bad temper. The little witch decided to report her findings in this investigation to prevent the tragedy from repeating itself. They attempted to feed the chipmunk demon king seeds to lure it out. They lost another comrade in the process. It seems that this creature was not a vegetarian after all. Also, all of her comrades are just getting killed. Her final companion fled, having deduced that the pattern of events thus far that he was next on the chopping block. It was an incomplete logical deduction. Both the process and conclusion were mistaken. Eventually, she used high-grade boar meat to lure the chipmunk demon king into a trap. The creature's fat and fur made it resilient to fire and freezing. Though she had never dissected one, results indicated that it also had an organ enabling it to breathe underwater. A complete vacuum was used to dispatch it in the end. It seems that it still required aerobic respiration. Many demon kings seem very powerful, but they all have their weaknesses. The same is true for alchemical life forms. Finally, the little witch had to face a standard demon king, a great demon king of a primitive order. I'm so tired right now. I'm so tired from reading that. Yo, bro, who let her cook? Who let bro cook? Oh, primate order. Okay, so I said my dyslexia is fucking with me. A great demon king of the primate order. Holy shit, chat. I don't know who let Rhine-daughter cook, but stick to alchemy, okay? Clearly the pen is mightier than the sword in this case. I think if anything, this gave us more of an indication of Rhine-daughter's state of mind. She's in La La Land 90% of the time. Let us continue. We are now starting chapter 4. Let's see. Oh my God. Some mysterious handwriting appears before the main text. Saritsa, be good. How are there so many unresolved plot threads? Please have mercy on these old bones, would you? Oh, this is, Jay, right? Ivanovna? She was from Snezhnaya, and she talks about the Saritsa. So, yeah, this was Ivanovna. Yeah, so this was before she died. This was like a collaborative thing before she died then. Hold on, let me write this down. Oh, man, shout out to the second Windbloom Festival. That was all for her, too, by the way. Okay, I love how she was like, Saritsa, have mercy upon these souls. She's literally criticizing. Rhine-daughter has no idea how to set up a plot. She's just like action, action, action. Unga bunga reading. That's all you get. Volume 4. So the little witch found the great demon king. I'm sure you all remember that defeating more demon kings causes witches to grow stronger. Yeah, she's like, this is, where's my wholesome Christian book? No killing in this book for children. As such, the little witch was actually already amazingly powerful now. Where's the character arc? She just skipped all of the training arc and just went to, actually, she's amazing now. She's so powerful. The Demon King stood no chance. As such, the little witch was already amazingly powerful now. She's like, I gotta fix Rhine-daughter's mess. The great Demon King was simply no match for her. Can you really kill a being that looks like a human and has intelligence? Shouted the great Demon King in desperation. You're right. I didn't really intend to do anything to you anyways, said the little witch. I've never forgotten that my goal is to find the undying fire. I forgot all about that, honestly. All the shenanigans we're getting into. Researching, observing, and defeating demon kings was never even a means to an end, but rather just the building of the basic level of power. Then she used, sorry, I don't know magic or mysticism. some super powerful, awesome technique to bind the Great Demon King and brought it back to the largest nearby city. Oh, right, because Ivanovna is human. So she's like, I don't know what all this alchemy nonsense that Rhindaughter was blabbering about is, but I'm just gonna incorporate this MacGuffin attack, this MacGuffin ability that just allows me to transport this Demon King, because I'm a human and I don't have magic. So, okay, interesting. Yo, this freaking story's cooked. I'm just saying, guys. As a trainee of the Western witches who had come out to take her exam, she normally had credentials that proved her identity. This provided her with convenient passage through many mortal kingdoms. Such things were also proven to be immensely hard to forge, thus avoiding the possibility of any cliche plot lines. This actually presented the mayor of the city with a conundrum. Ah, yes, this is a good time to say that this nation was a loose confederacy. It's supposed to be based on Snezhnaya, and since this was a mayor, there was no aristocracy or hereditary titles. For the handling of this great demon king was truly quite tricky. Interesting. I'm sure you all know that the dominant race of this planet, okay, they're mentioning that again. I'm sure you all know that the dominant race of this planet was the Nephilim, a hybrid of humans and gods. Right, so the race of great demon kings was actually the demon king class, and so demon kings were thus a part of the Nephilim. What the fuck? And of course, since they were the dominant race, this meant that Nephilim were on a whole much stronger than normal humans. And since the setting of this world has hybrids of humans and gods, this meant that it has gods too. And taking a step back, the Nephilim also had a certain degree of legal immunity. Are you serious? They're like, oh, we can't try this man in a court of law because he's a greater being than all of us. If they had killed 5 humans or fewer, they couldn't be judged by humans' laws. Oh yeah, because they're part human. You have to consider their god side of them. That's so funny. Oh man, if they had killed 5 humans or less, they couldn't be judged by human laws and had to be repatriated to Nephilim lands. And as it happened, this great demon king had only stolen and eaten several thousand boars and chickens each. All right, no humans were harmed in the capture of this demon king. Wow, so she immediately resolved this conflict with diplomacy and political power. So this was fast turning into a diplomatic and political issue. Of course, the mayor could just stick the Western witches with all the blame, but that would offend every witch on the continent. Plus, the mayor was also a good friend of the little witch. She would never do anything that would hurt the organization of witches as a whole. Following some diplomatic rhetoric, some policies to appease it, and an explanation of the pros and cons, the captured Great Demon King accepted that retribution should only be extracted on the party who had done the wrong, meaning that his ire was now narrowed to the little witch alone. But he could not defeat her. So that was the end of that, really. Finally, I hope everyone remembers that crystal ball because the little witch's goal has become foggy at this stage. So she decided to take it out and have a look at it. Oh my God. Actually, you know what? Not gonna cap. Jay kind of saved this story. Rhindaughter had this shit flying off the rails. That shit was literally like gone. And then Jay just brought it back around somehow. And then they just stopped writing in volume 5. I wonder what this is all about. The writing here is practically a messy scrawl. Perhaps the author doesn't really write much, or perhaps something happened. A familiar face surfaced on the crystal ball. This is your magic teacher speaking. The trial is over. You were unable to obtain your witch's license. What do you mean? You're telling me I did all this and I failed? Who wrote this? How long did it take? She got 3 times as long as everyone else. Oh man, wait, so I wonder who wrote this. What do you mean something happened? The writing here is practically a messy scrawl. Perhaps the author doesn't really write much, or perhaps something happened. So I'm assuming one of these has to be Anders' daughters, right? Wait, actually, how many others are there? Wait, who the fuck's Octavia? Octavia's back. Wait, hold on, I'm jumping ahead. This is chapter 6. Okay, hold on. I don't know who Volume 5 is. We'll come back to that in a minute. I'm wondering, though, because it says something may have happened, and I'm so glad I'm reading this after Simulanka, because I wouldn't have been able to correlate this beforehand, but Anders' daughter has unfinished stories written in Simulanka because she died. I wonder if what happened was chapter 5 was supposed to be Anders' daughter's chapter, but then she died, which means she still started off the chapter with, "You failed, I'll take." But it also says perhaps the author doesn't really write much, but she was old, so maybe she just couldn't write as much. Volume 6. Is it really necessary to write this? The present moment being what it is. Allow me then. Opportunities to return to this world are few and far between. Alice would think the same. If we don't continue, then everything would have been meaningless from the start. I think Anya died. And so they were like, so do we continue? Like, how do we continue after she died, you know? They even said, do you think it's necessary to write this given the present moment being what it is, being that, like, hey, Anya just died? I'm assuming that that's what it's implying. I don't know if Volume 5 is supposed to be written by Anya or if it's like Nicole's the only other Hexenzirkel member of note. So maybe Nicole was writing Volume 5 and then Anya dying like caused a sudden stop. It's also the fact that it says perhaps the author doesn't really write much. So if it's not Anya, then maybe Nicole, because it says it's a messy handwriting. Those are the only two things I can think of. It's either Nicole or Anya, because there's only two left that I know of. Okay, so I wonder who's writing this one then, like this chapter. Unless it's this Octavia. The little witch hurried to where her teacher was. I think it means to say she wanted to question her teacher face to face about why the test had ended and why she was not permitted to become a witch. She wanted to throw things to the ground in front of her teacher, though of course she would only chuck the ones that could survive the impact and that she could practically lift herself while avoiding her teacher's favorite teacup. That's so funny. It's like, hey, I'm so mad, I'm gonna dump all these papers on the floor so I can at least pick them up afterwards when I'm done. You know, she's not gonna do anything that she'll actually get in trouble for. Of course, should the situation warrant it, she was even willing to smash her very own second favorite teacup to show how serious all this was. After all, she bought that one herself rather than it having been given to her by friends. She valued such gifts as much as the friends themselves, and would never use them as part of an emotional outburst. Octavia's back. Go catch up with her. This is what her teacher said. Okay, so never mind. That might be a character in the book. Octavia's back. Go catch up with her. That was what her teacher said calmly the moment they saw each other again. In an instant, the emotions that the little witch had stored up, brewed, fermented, plotted, and rehearsed, poured out countless times over. Octavia was a good friend of hers, and a good friend also of the legendary Old Witch. Old Witch, okay. Her home had been destroyed. Wait, what? Hold on, what the hell is happening here? Her home had been destroyed, but as she lacked the courage to fight back, she had taken up a life of eternal wandering. She had seen many worlds and had told the little witch many tales about the sky beyond the sky. So I wonder if that's why there was, if this Octavia is actually like a self-insert, I wonder if that's why there's no 8th table in that cutscene, because she wanders the world, because she doesn't have a home. The entire cosmos is going to die soon. And just like that, we're right back in it. Is this another Rene de Petrichor calamity prophecy? Things peaked but not long ago and are about to go south very fast. Octavia was sitting in the yard, swathing in flowing sunlight, pouring tea into the teacup she and the little witch loved most. The little witch pulled up a chair and sat in. You returned so suddenly, she said. We didn't even prepare a chair for you. You're probably sitting in the old witch's chair now. The old witch's chair, Anders' daughter. So this was after she died then. Many stars across the cosmos have gone out. I do not know how much time is left, Octavia said. So I wanted to come back to see you. Is that why my teacher and the others stopped all the witch's tests? Because you came back and told them this? The little witch asked. Perhaps. In such a world, all things lose meaning, and there is no longer any need for you to become a witch. Then I shan't be angry at my teacher any longer, the little witch said. But will you be mad at me? I caused you to lose your chance to become one, O said. Okay, so so Octavia is one of them, I think. I will if you never return after leaving this place, came the little witch's reply. I'll go to the bedroom and get your chair. I can just sit in this old witch's chair, can't I? She's too old to get up and come sit in it nowadays. That's no good. That chair's hers, just as your chair's yours, the little witch argued her case earnestly with O. To each person a chair. That way, even if they were not present, their memories will be seated still. That's so wholesome. So we absolutely can't use the wrong chairs. Octavia smiled helplessly. All right, chat, really quick. I'm gonna get out of this chair real quick. I do not belong sitting there. Those are for their memories and theirs alone. I done goofed, my bad. Hopefully I didn't tarnish anyone's memories. I apologize. Octavia smiled helplessly. And by the way of apology for interrupting the process of the little witch becoming a proper one, she gave the latter a piece of news. So, the Undying Fire really exists. It might be found at blank. All right, Octavia, moving the plot forward. Finally, we know where this Undying Fire is. I almost forgot that that's what the whole plot of this book was supposed to be. It's the One Piece. It can be found in Natlan, by the way, the Sacred Flame. All right, so Octavia. So she said the world's gonna die soon? What's that all about? The entire cosmos is gonna die soon. Stars are going out one at a time. I immediately think of Kingdom Hearts because that was literally the plot of how the worlds were going out to darkness, like the stars were representing planets. But besides that, clearly some shit's going on beyond the firmament, and good old Phanis, the primordial one, might be trying to safeguard us from all this crazy shit that might be trying to kill us on the outside. But we don't know any better. Right? We're like, we've been oppressed for too long. We're being shackled by the primordial one and the heavenly principles. We have to break free from the firmament. And then we all die because we didn't listen. We went against our holy primordial father. Either that or the narwhal was just continuing to eat stars, and that's what she was prophesizing. Oh boy. Okay. And we're at the final chapter, gamers. Volume 7, the binding and, oh, whoa, this is almost kind of like how the book started. The binding and layout are exquisitely made, but the actual content is all handwritten. Judging from the handwriting, there is more than one author. I have already found the meaning of writing. That is to tell you, I do so wish you were here too. Yeah, I think Anya is gone at this point. Oh my God, you know what? If chapter 5 was written by Nicole, I think this entire book was written by all of the other Hexenzirkel members and was supposed to be given to Anya, but then she died. And I think Anya's the little witch. I'm so depressed. I legitimately think that's what it is, because that's literally what they did with Simulanka. They took her story and they finished it for her, and she was just a human. And I think that's the whole point of the book. This little witch that's trying to become like them, like mages with these crazy, incredible powers. I mean, Jay popped off, right? She did a lot, and she was a human too. Anya's entire life's work was just writing these fantastical stories and bringing these fairy tale worlds to life. This is so sad. Now that I think about it, yeah, this is literally like paying tribute to her. And I think she's the little witch who was a mage after all. She didn't even need to do the certification. Volume 7. As she was buffeted by the waves of time, passing through the vortex where countless causalities converged, piercing countless threads of the weave, she missed a great many things. Even the memorial of the great witch she had so admired ended deserted, without her in attendance. Where they were, the point is that the little witch passed through all manner of haphazard trials and challenges and nonsensical stuff before she managed to arrive before the old witch. I think the old witch might, like the little witch and the old witch, it's like Anya's entire life. It's like, it's her journey from becoming the little witch to the old witch of the, like in real life. Actually, it's just that the little witch didn't think those experiences were worth talking about, nor did she know why anyone bothered spilling so much ink about all that earlier stuff. When all said and done, the most important thing were the witch's tea party and the goal she was pursuing. In truth, she had already seen it before her journey began, in the sky as dark as the sack of coal, or perhaps the cavern, for as we all know, there is no difference between the two. There hung a star giving off a weak radiance, resisting the world's darkness as it encroached on every side. As the universe gradually grew dim, and all stars and stars known as suns were extinguishing one by one, everyone agreed to call it the Star of Scorpio. All right, hold on, let me write that down. Interesting. There's been a lot of actuallys in this book. All of the Hexen Circle members are very much actuallying each other throughout this entire story. But yeah, okay, so everyone called it the Star of Scorpio. The little witch remembered hearing about this during the witch's tea party, but she only remembered the name and nothing else. Anyways, the little witch came before the old witch, who was actually the Star of Scorpio. That witch burned still, even at the end of all things. However, her flame was very weak now, barely a faint ember. The little witch held her hand, which had become as dry and brittle as a withered branch. She remembered that the old witch was once a little witch as well. It's literally her as a young witch and as an old witch, with pale and tender hands that once elegantly held teacups. Those same hands had been used to bring forth such magic, kindling the flames of many worlds. Her stories. The little witch said, "Looks like everyone doesn't want the flame to go out, and I get it. It can't be helped. The last time we said farewell, you were there too." The witches said that long-lived witches would lose many things as the years went by. Life, death, love, and hate would cease to have such meaning. But that isn't true. Those were just words they used to comfort the companions who departed before them. Witches, in fact, treasure every infinitesimal flame and light that shines in this dark world, bereft of hope all the more. They hold even the shadows that these flames would cast dear. You often said that you weren't our equal, but I've always believed you to be the cutest, most powerful witch among us. This is so heartbreaking, chat. You often said that you left little behind, but the stories you left to us held countless worlds. Even should 100 years pass or 1,000, even if the apocalypse that a certain astrologer witch worries about coming, even if all of the long-lived witches die, the little light that emanates in these little worlds will not grow dim. That's right. You were the greatest great witch, far greater than all of us. I miss you. Farewell. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh man, this makes Simulanka even better, dude. This makes Simulanka so much more impactful. Cause like, it is literally the best summer event, and it's going away tomorrow, and I hate it. I hate that Simulanka, cause that's literally like Anya's greatest work, her literal peak perfection creation to the world. Oh man, that is so wholesome. I assume Alice is writing this last passage on behalf of everybody. The old witch did not reply, for all that were left was but an empty husk, no different from the many others that the little witch had encountered in her adventures. Indeed, they were even of the same basic material, with the only difference between those and this being the minuscule light of the flame. And so the little witch took the flame that was burning the old witch and set out on her homeward journey. Anyways, let's stop the story here. The little witch's adventure would continue though, for she had already decided to bring the old witch's fire across the universe to light every last corner of time. 07s for the GOAT, Anya M. Anders' daughter. I really want to know her middle name. Because that's the only reason why she's not the leader, is because Alice was like, well, my name is also A, so you're gonna be M, so that way I'm number one. Anya Anders' daughter, so goated, man. Simulanka was so good. She's the adopted mother of Durin. We have her to thank for mini Durin. Oh, this was a fantastic read. This was so fun. I actually was expecting, so someone asked me at the beginning, Arnold, do you have any expectations? Now that I've read it, I can like retroactively talk about that. Like, I was expecting there to be like important, critical information, because everyone was telling me to read this book. And then I read it and it's just like, there's just a bunch of shenanigans going on here. Half of them can't even write. And when they write, they miss out on all the good details. And they're just like taking pot shots at each other half the time in the freaking description. The Nephilim, the star of Scorpio, I wonder if that's significant, but I think the Nephilim is like the #1 takeaway of this entire read. And obviously like the reading of each of these characters is also indicative of like their personalities. I think Ryanddaughter needs help. And I think I can be the one to help her. Actually, you can't be that bad, okay? You created Albedo, right? You created my favorite character. You can't be that bad. You just misunderstood, and I will hear you out. You guys thought if you guys thought I was a Capitano, like freaking Glazer, you guys have no idea. I pray for when Ryanddaughter is in the game. Those are the 2 beings that I will glaze above all else. I'll throw Varka up there too, but I feel like it's gonna be a while before he shows up. So this book is the Hexen Circle's way of memorializing Anya. It's like, hey, look at all the things you managed to do, all the lives you managed to influence, all the people you met, all the things you did, all the stories. And it's almost kind of like, actually, you know what the most beautiful part about all of this is? If anything, this shows how goated, how like unfuckwithable Anya's writing was compared to the other members. You can look at all of them and be like, oh yeah, you have magic, you have alchemy, you can define the fates of all living creatures, but none of y'all can fuck with me when it comes to the pen. When it comes to the pen and paper, I'm the mage above all others. And they attempted and they failed. So like, I actually think that's like the best thing. And imagine, I can only imagine what her reaction would have been if she read this. That's like the best thing about it. It feels like this was like a little memorial gift to Anya that they didn't get to finish before she died, but they finished it anyway. And so I have read it. I have witnessed it. I will carry this with me in my heart for the rest of my journey. Thank you so much to Anya for everything she allowed for us to experience in the Imaginarium Theater with Wolfie. As messed up as it is, the Boar Princess, sure, I guess. You know, I'm sure those children of Mondstadt love that bedtime story. And Mini Durin, the freaking Simulanka story, and everything else in between. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved this. And this is the last piece of content that we're getting into before Natlan. Tomorrow, we are going to be giving our proper farewell send-off to Simulanka. We are literally starting where we are dropped off, and we are going to walk and reminisce and lament and mourn and be nostalgic about that place. Think on it fondly as best we can before the servers shut down. So that's gonna be my stream for tomorrow before maintenance for Natlan. But thank you guys all so much for watching. I really hope that this lore reading session was entertaining and enjoyable for you guys. My reading's a little spotty. Dyslexia sucks. I hate reading out loud, but I do it anyway because I love Genshin. Hopefully the story made a bit more sense to some of y'all. I know there were some people that were like, Arnold, I need you to read this to me. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's bad writing. Most of this was bad writing. That's why you didn't understand what was going on. And hopefully now you understand that. And hopefully it was a bit more entertaining to go through. A bit of yapping and the Nephilim lore. I'm eager to see if we meet such creatures in the future of Genshin. I'm assuming we will. There's no way they dropped that twice, by the way, in this book, for it not to have any significance moving forward. That is it. That is everything from me. I will be live again tomorrow for more Genshin Impact greatness on twitch.tv/MurderofBirds. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, I loved this. RIP Anders' daughter. You were the GOAT.